1686, I would like to welcome you all to witness and celebrate the arrival of these brave Huguenots. We have a reputation for offering gentle welcome to those suffering at the hands of bloody tyrants. We now ask you to witness the opening of our proud Customs House, to give further hospitality and succor, and to continue with the celebrations for the safe arrival of these, our new citizens of Exeter. Thank you.
What we saw on the river a while ago, which was what might be the first refugees coming into Britain was identified as refugees, not using that word, but a group of people trying to get in and escaping from persecution.
1625 is the first date that I have for French refugees. They are people who are fleeing France for religious reasons. Exeter welcomed Huguenots, not because they were doing the right thing, but because it benefited Exeter. They realized that these people were valuable, that they had skills that local people didn't have. And later in the 1700s, we even had French cloth dye makers coming here who established a new business called the Exeter Carpet Company.
We have seen in more recent times that perhaps refugees aren't always particularly welcome. How was it in that?
Indeed. Well, one thing is that by definition, if they arrive here, they probably had either connections or money. The very poorest Huguenots are going by land. They're ending up in the Netherlands or Germany. They are received very well at first. There's a very famous chap, Jacques Fontaine, who writes his memoirs. He arrives in Barnstable. His family are put up. He almost immediately goes into business with the locals. But within a couple of years, that welcome starts to sour a little, not too much. But he starts to feel under increasing pressure to move out, set up shop on his own, pay his own way. And the degree to which he and his colleagues are able to do that is a big part of how well they're remembered. The Huguenots, as this model refugee group, get that reputation largely because, as Todd says, they end up making money. The ones who don't, the ones who stay in Plymouth and Stonehouse, for example, and work as fishermen, are less well remembered today.
At the end of 2019, there were about 80 million forcibly displaced people around the world. From those, around 46 million people were internally displaced people, displaced within the borders of their own countries, and 26 million were refugees as such. The main countries of origin in the past few years have been Syria, Venezuela, Afghanistan, South Sudan, Myanmar. The main parallel between their experiences and those of the Huguenots who came to Devon 300 years ago is the experience of persecution in the first place, and then the experience of crossing borders, crossing international borders, moving from one country to another in order to find refuge.
As was mentioned, the numbers of refugees were up, the numbers of internally displaced were up, but the numbers of returns were down again, and the numbers of resettled refugees were unfortunately down again quite significantly. So that tells us that solutions are particularly hard to find at the moment, and in many ways getting harder. And COVID, of course, is making the situation for refugees harder. If you take away the border aspect, just the socio-economic impact is huge.
I arrived to the UK in 2016 with my 2 daughters and my husband. I left Syria because of the terrible war. We were living very good life. We have excellent job in my country, but we forced to leave because of the war. So I fled to Lebanon. So I stayed in Lebanon for 8 years. After 8 years, was a lot of bad treatment, which is racism in Lebanon. So I applied for the United Nations and just to come to England. And the first challenge was the language. So it's really difficult to came to country, you don't anything about their culture, their language, even the system of the life is changed. I came from countries, huge different, everything is different. But by that time I said, well, look, you have to start a new life in the UK with your family, in the safer place. That's what we were looking for, a safer place for us. So we came to the UK. I settled down in Exeter. Since I arrived, I just lived in Exeter now for 5 years. I went to Exeter College. I really appreciate all the help Exeter College, all the teachers they provide for me and for all the Syrian refugees now.
There are no legal or safe routes to claim asylum. So to claim asylum, you have to be in the UK, and there is no way that you could ask for permission to come and claim asylum. So people are left with the only option of finding very risky routes and difficult routes, and obviously illegal, but there is no other way around that.
When I came here, I was only 4 and a half and my sister was a baby. The first day of nursery, I came back home crying to my mum, told me, why am I like this when I come out again? After 2 weeks, I went to school and I had no experience about it, and my dad has finished his master at university and is working as an interpreter and delivery. And my mum has finished her BA at university and is working with an organisation to help refugees. I'm really proud of them, and now I am living a new life. This is what refugees can do. Don't feel sorry for them, just believe in them and they can do it. Thank you.
I left Darfur in the end of 2016 when the war started and everything was destroyed and there was nothing to save. And I left my family in Darfur in Zamzam camp. And then I went to desert I went to desert and I worked in mine. I worked very hard and I was suffering during day and night. And then I escaped from desert to the Libya. Libya also is a very terrible and very bad time. And I lost some of my best friends. And from that I got a chance, and then I went to travel. I saw some people help me. I got the boat. And at that time we were 140 people in the boat. We spent 3 days inside the ocean. So, and then after 2 days, some people inside the boat, they try fighting against each other, and some people, because we lose control. And at night time, we decided at the night time, maybe we can see the light and then we can arrive to the night. This all the journey because we try to find a safe place, but it's really difficult to find that safe place, to be honest. And thank you all for your attention.
Refugees, myself, Palestinian. I worked with unaccompanied children coming to Exeter for a long time. They still call me mom, which is the local authority never understood. When they call me mom, then you should not be involved, you are too close. Then I say, no, I am professional mother. Because our kids, they want to come here, they're only children, and they want to see some figure of motherhood.